Russo Italiano sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
Because this video is heavy impact cards. All the chops and changes, pull-outs, everything that's going on with that card. What's the first one of the day?
Kyle. Oh, well, we might as well start with the most, well, I wouldn't say the most interesting. We'll start with what looks to be Joyce Hrgović, although, I mean, we've got a source, good sources saying that this is going to be the fight. I don't think it's 100% confirmed, Chris, is it? But it's looking likely that that's going to be the matchup. And the first thing I want to say on it, are you gonna pull up? Yeah. So.
See that, yeah?
Yeah. So BBC Sport, yeah, Joyce to fight. So pretty good source. It's looking likely. Not sure if it's on the box rec yet, but looking likely it's going to be Hrgović. And the thing is, this is quite an interesting fight. It's as interesting as the White fight. I know they fought in the Super Series, didn't they, back in the day, about 10 years ago. I think it was the Super Series anyway. I feel a little bit for Joyce here because the guy can't catch a break, really. I mean, if anyone deserves someone to look good against, is Joyce. And then they get Filip Hrgović in, who's going to be he's going to be a problem for Joyce. But it all depends on what sort of shape Chris Hrgović comes in it. Has he been in camp? Has he been ticking over? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see what it says here. Will be his replacement for Dylan White. It's a tough fight for both of them. Yeah. So I think that's that. But it's a hard fight because Hrgović, he didn't get put down. He's got a good chin.
Yeah.
He's taking a shot and staying on his feet. Because they were talking about this on someone's channel. I think it's Hatman's. There's a difference between a good chin and good heart. People who go down and keep getting up, that's heart. People who take absolute hellacious shots on the chin to the head and don't go down and they still carry on fighting, that's a good chin. That's the difference. But Hrgović has got a good chin. Because he's got a really, really good chin, tough, and he's a lot quicker than Joe Joyce. It's like you say, this is not the right fight for Joyce after coming off a loss from Chisora. It's a little bit too much of a step too far. If he can't beat Chisora, he's not going to be able to beat Hrgović because even though Hrgović lost against Dubois and he's gone on the milk carton, he's gone on the missing, let's not forget who won the first 3 or 4 rounds? Hrgović. Just because someone loses doesn't mean they're totally shit. You know what I mean? Or they're just not as, maybe a little bit less level than they was. It's not like he's a terrible fighter now, and he's definitely got enough to beat Joyce. And I just feel sorry for him that he's got someone who's on the comeback. Instead of having a 50-50 fight, it's turned into a fight where he's a stepping stone for someone else. And
I don't know why he's agreed to it, Chris. I don't know it. We don't know enough of the information. It normally is, but I don't know. If he lost that many brain cells in the cumulative damage he's taken in his career because he can't get his head off the line. I mean, this guy, right? I love Joe Joyce, so please don't think I'm slagging him off. But this guy cannot get his fucking head off the line. I've never seen a pressure fighter. I can't remember a pressure fighter who walks forward with his hands out here and his chin in the air. It's unbelievable. All the trainers he's worked. If Joe Joyce has been properly, this is the thing. He's an Olympic silver medalist and walking forward with his hands there, chin in the air, just eating right hands, left, right. If anyone was tailor-made for a quick straight right hand, it's Joe Joyce. And Hrgović has got a really good straight right, like we saw against Dubois those first 3 rounds. But the issue I've got, if Hrgović has been ticking over, and I know his motivation has been questioned. I mean, David A said this guy was going to be the future heavyweight champion. He's got all the talent, the size. But if he's got any motivation left, then comes into this fight in shape, Chris, against Joyce. I mean, those right hands straight down the pipe are not going to miss all night, are they? Let's be real.
Obviously, yeah. It's still a good fight, you know. Obviously,
it is.
It's not got the hellacious power as other heavyweights, so like
Yes.
might be able to survive in there. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I want Joyce to win, don't you?
Yeah, I want him to win. Yeah, make a fight of it. Let's hope he breaks his will.
Yeah. I hope Hrgovic just comes in not great shape, not terribly motivated, and Joyce is able to sort of do what he does, walk him down, and we forget Joyce. Not too long ago, not too many years ago, was really solid, really, really good, and was it 3 losses in his last 4, and the one win was against Cash Ali, and he went all 10 rounds with him, didn't he? Knocked him out. No, he knocked him out in the last round, and Cash Ali's a sort of area title contender at best, really. So I'm just a little bit concerned for Joyce here, a little bit. Like,
yeah, it weren't the right fight, but I still think it'll be a good fight because Hrgovic ain't got the power, and Joyce will make a fight of it. For sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. It should be a good fight. So decent replacement. Can we go on to the next news on this card, Chris?
Yeah, what's next?
So with Okolie, people know this by now. Okolie has pulled out. Now, even allegedly, there's a couple of things here. Allegedly, he sparred the day before and was seemingly all right. Now, that is alleged, and then he's kind of pulled out an injury and he pulled out. Joe Gallagher was on, I think, TalkSport with Simon Jordan. I was going to try and get up the video, but I didn't have time to look for it. And he was essentially saying, I don't know if you saw this, Chris, he was sort of saying, we don't know what do we really get from the Riakporhe fight. It was a little bit of a strange one. It seemed to me like Joe Gallagher and Okolie's team didn't really fancy that fight. And then he was talking about how he would have, I'm paraphrasing, Joe Gallagher was saying he would have preferred the Joe Joyce fight because Joe Joyce is at a bit of a crossroads. Okolie new to the heavyweight division. So that you wanted him to fight Joyce, who's not had enough concussions in his life, who's coming off a bad defeat to Chisora. You want to feed in Joyce so that he can. You see where I'm going with this, Chris. I find it all a bit unsavoury. What's happening here? I don't know.
What does he get from fighting Joe Joyce? Nothing.
This is what I mean. I think that was a bizarre thing to say.
He gets nothing from fighting Joe Joyce. Absolutely nothing. At least with Riakporhe, you've got someone in there where we don't know what's going to happen. Like, this is going to be competitive.
Do you think they didn't fancy it because it did? If Okolie wins, it doesn't do kind of much for his career. I mean, he's number 1 with the WBC. We'll get there in a minute. But a really good domestic fun fight. But
I think maybe it's reading a bit too much into it. Maybe he's like, look, he's injured. We've pulled him out of the fight, and don't really care because we didn't get much out of that fight anyway. So I'm not bothered. That kind of thing. Maybe he's got that attitude. I don't think it's all as deep as like they pulled out because they didn't want it. They wanted other things and all that because obviously, why would you pay for it unless he makes an announcement in the next month that he's fighting someone better for more money on a bigger, better show. But if he doesn't do that, maybe he generally is injured and he's just trying to stay face out of a bad situation and say, yeah, he's injured. We've pulled him out of the fight, but who cares? Because what did we get from that fight anyway?
Do you know what? You're right. I'm assuming I'm smelling a rat here where there might not be a rat. You are right. I think where my head was going with it, they had Dillian White pull out with an injury, Okolie pull out with an injury on the same card, and Dubois pulling out 2 days before his fight with an illness. I just find that all these injuries and illnesses, it all just seems a bit...
All heavyweights.
All heavyweights.
Water, something in the water.
There's no smoke that fine.
Yeah. Saudi. look at Shakur Stevenson. He's going for that as well.
Oh, Schofield. Yeah.
What are they eating over there? What are they feeding?
I don't know. So, I don't know if we had. Did we have a screenshot for the Okolie pull out? By the way,
Okolie.
Just to come.
Yeah. So here we go. Getting the old screen share. You can see that.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
yeah. Guy Sports. Yeah.
Lawrence Okolie out of the Richard Riakporhe fight. Philip Herbert replaces him.
Didn't watch Joyce. Yeah. Yeah.
Riakporhe on April the 5th, but has had to withdraw with an injury. There you go. Like, it's not like it's. Because obviously, like, he's got an injury, of course, so he's had to pull out. It's one of them things, you know?
Yeah, so on to the what is going to replace this fight, and then Chris is going to pull up the screenshot for this. I think Matchroom have got it on their official that he's going to be. Was it not Matchroom? Sorry, whoever that Moses Itauma is going to be fighting on the card. We don't know who against yet, but he's going to be on the card. I don't know if we have we got any information? I can't remember if I sent you.
No, I didn't have anything.
No, sorry, I'm thinking of Dave Allen Fisher too. Matchroom. I'm going because he's the Queen for Itauma.
Who do you think Moses is going to fight?
Well, this is a really good question because he's really hard to match.
Why don't you just jump in and fight Riakporhe? Fight Riakporhe.
Yeah, maybe that was I mean, Moses Itauma is going to be Frank Warren's cash cow, I guess, and he's going to want to protect him a little bit. Not too many 50-50.
No, I don't think he needs protecting.
Mm.
Like, you've got a guy who was at cruiserweight, who's just come up to heavyweight. You're a heavyweight. What's Riakporhe done? He's not done anything. He's not.
You're right, actually. You're right, actually.
It's not anything.
I think it might be more that Riakporhe doesn't want that smoke, perhaps.
Yeah, because he's like, Riakporhe's not spring chicken either. He's about
35.
Like, for me, if Moses Itauma was stepping in, instead of don't fuck the show up,
do you think Riakporhe wants to go and spend a bit more time with Madonna instead? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think he. Yeah, but the thing is, if I was Riakporhe, I'd be like, nah.
No,
obviously,
I agree.
It's not a 50-50 fight. He said, "This is the young kid, dynamite kid. If I get ironed out by him, first fight at heavyweight is a big L. Like if he fights Okolie, it's gonna be a war.
Yeah,
they've sparred rounds.
Yeah.
We've had their little beef. There was that cruiser. They know each other. You know, it's more of a 50-50 fight.
So the problem is with here, Chris, is that Itauma's really hard to match because Dempsey McKean and Marius Wack were supposed to give him rounds, and he ironed them out inside. Well, Dempsey McKean in the first round, and Marion Wack inside 2 or 3, or 2 rounds was it? So, they were meant to be sort of tests or to give him some rounds. I've got a few names here to chuck at you, Chris. I've got a few names. Let me know a couple that you would maybe think would be a decent matchup, because we don't want, this is a good card, or was it, but it's still a good card with Hergovic. I don't want it to be someone churned out for a time that just spark inside 30 seconds. Jermaine Franklin, obviously, he'd be, I think, a reasonable test. Mianello, I think he's fighting Torres Jr., so I think he's in camp for him, so I'm not sure he'd be available. Gassiev, he's not terribly active. Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, Michael Hunter, Pooney, or what about the 65-year-old Luis Ortiz? What about him? Any of them?
Only one of them people that I think is worth it fighting is, and that it can actually be made, is probably Jermaine Franklin, really.
Makes sense, that fight, doesn't it? That makes sense.
Yeah. For sure. He'll give him rounds. He'll try and survive. He won't let him just fucking knock him out. Like, he's one of them fighters, yeah, that he comes to survive.
Yeah.
Like, and he'll throw hands when he can, but you ain't going to just start knocking him out.
Also, the good thing is about and obviously I don't know his situation out there, but I think he's a decent professional, Franklin, and he's one of those fighters that would tick over because he would be waiting for the call, Chris, potentially. He took Dillian White and AJ the distance, didn't he? Both of them. So if Moses Itauma irons Jermaine Franklin out inside 6 rounds, how good does that look?
Yeah, that's it.
So, but I don't know how possible that fight is to make, but I'd be looking to try and make that fight. Makes a lot of sense.
Definitely, and I really like the Hooney fight, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know Hooney's an Australian prospect that they're building up, so they're not like they're going to be like we want it in Australia because we're a bigger name in Australia than Itauma is in the UK. It's all that fight isn't going to be able to be made like that.
And I think Eddie Hearn has he's got such a small heavyweight stable anyway. I don't know if he'll want to risk Justin Hooney. He'll only be left with John Fisher, Terrafoma, and that's about it. So AJ, that's it.
Definitely Franklin. Definitely Riakpo should just take that fight. Stop being let down. Even I'll tell you what would be good. Obviously, it's not ideal, but Charles Martin.
Yeah.
He was calling out Itauma, and even though he loses, he always gives a good account.
That's a good shout.
Like, let's take away the AJ fight aside, yeah? When he fought Luis Ortiz, he knocked him down. He gave him that work, yeah? When he fought Anderson, he hurt Anderson a few times. Even though he loses, like, he gives a good... Apart from take the AJ fight, let's forget the AJ fight, and let's forget all the I walk this earth like a god bullshit.
Yeah.
In his recent performances, in defeat, he's really shown something. He's got a lot of heart.
That's a good shout, Chris.
And that could be... He would win the fight easy. Well, he would win the fight, but he'd get some rounds.
I think that one makes sense as well because, you know, Charles Martin obviously was the IBF. I know he got that as vacant, and AJ obviously was an easy first title for AJ. But, you know, he was... Yeah. He's a bit like... you get a lot of Americans like Bermain Stavern, isn't he? One of them sort of paper champions. But Charles Martin, Jermaine Franklin, the other one I quite like, and I don't know what he's up to, but I quite like Frank Sanchez, but I don't know, that would be, I don't know how easy that would be to make, because Sanchez is a decent Cuban fighter. But yeah, but we'll do, you know, the next sort of few days, I'm sure that will be announced. I mean, they're only going to have 3 weeks to prepare for Moses, so Moses has only got 3 weeks to prepare himself.
Well, he's got 3 weeks, he's got 3 weeks.
And the last topic on this, I mean, obviously, as people are obviously aware, Dillian White's out, Hrgovic has come in. Chris is going to pull up the rankings now, and we're going to have a little look to see where Lawrence Okolie is on the WBC rankings. Bearing in mind, he's had 1 fight at heavyweight. He won the Bridger title against Rosansky. And when he became WBO Cruiserweight champion, lest we forget, Chris, that was a vacant title he picked up against a guy called Glowacki. Do you remember him, Glowacki? And if you don't remember him, Chris, don't worry, because no one fucking does.
So we got the rankings here.
Where is he?
Ring Magazine. So where
WBC.
right, that's the WBO. WBC.
Wait for it.
Alexander Usyk, number 1. Who's number 2?
That's the WBA.
Oh, this is WBC. Here we go. Yeah, WBC. Alexander Usyk, number 1. Ajit Caballero, number 2. Oh no, he's mandatory. Oh, he's got a Mando. Well done. He's a Mando for the WBC. Okolie.
Yeah, there you are.
What the fuck?
There you are. Okolie, number 1. So basically, all right, he was a 2-weight world champ, right? But you can kind of break apart that record. I mean, and I like Okolie. I think he's a lovely lad. Chris, you interviewed him. He's a lovely guy. He's talented. You know, hits hard, fast, powerful. You know, picked up the WBO belt, which was vacant. When he fought someone at world level, Chris Smith, he lost and he got knocked down 3 times, stunk the place out. He then went a bridgerweight and beat Rosansky, Chris, didn't he? And then he had one fight against Hussein, a fucking plumber from God knows where he was from. And inexplicably, he's got to number 1 in the WBC. What's going on there? What's going on there?
Is he going to fight Caballero?
No. No chance. No chance.
So that is just that. Like, how the hell is that? I don't get that. How can you have one fight and be number 1? But maybe WBC are doing what WBO do. It's the only explanation. So if you win a world title, if you're a champion at a weight division below, as soon as you move up in weight class, you automatically get a title shot straight away.
Yeah.
Or get a high ranking straight away. Yeah. So if you was a champion, as soon as you move up, you're number 1 straight away.
It's the only explanation, Chris. It's the only explanation, because I think there'll be a few fighters in those rankings that will be a bit pissed off. But yeah, so unless you've anything to add, Chris, that sort of wraps up the Heavy Impact card update.
So that's Heavy Impact.
That's it. All good for me. Like and sub, leave a comment, all that.
Like and subscribe. Boxing Bros UK. We out.